Elijah stared at the weight of cash in his drawer. Holding even a single bill felt like gripping hot coals. It burned him, leaving diamond-shaped scars that won't disappear. He never thought his dream of riches would turn into a nightmare. Weak and hungry, Elijah lay in bed, a tear rolling down his cheek. He remembered the simple beginnings and his late friend, Chukwuma.
All this hustling and debt for money I can't even touch.
He screamed, throwing a tantrum in his frustration. Many months ago, Elijah was a very poor fisherman. He always had terrible luck and only caught tiny fishes. One day, as Elijah was getting ready for another unlucky night of fishing, he saw villagers running towards the village square. Curious, he followed the crowd to see what was going on. In the village square, he was surprised to see his childhood friend, who had returned from his travels. Chukwuma looked rich and was handing out gifts to everyone. Even the village chief was waiting for a gift. Finally, he approaches them, handing them an envelope each. The chiefs were happy and thanked Chukwuma for his generosity. Then he saw a familiar figure in the distance walking towards him.
Eli. Good to see you. I thought you left during the mass exodus of our age group. I could not. You know my ancestral land is on the sea, and all I know all through my lifetime is fishing. There is no way I would have survived in the city with you people. That's true. So how's the village been treating you now?
Elijah let out a breath. His lips were too tired to speak. He was just trying to stay alive. Chukwuma, understanding his silence, put a hand on his shoulder.
Just come over to the house tomorrow, okay? I might have something for you.
Elijah went back to his usual fishing spot. But again, there were no fish in his net. He wasn't worried though. His mind was elsewhere. He kept thinking,
how did Chukwuma get so successful in the city so quickly? This same Chukwuma who used to come to my house begging for fish now has enough to share with everyone and looks really rich.
Elijah realized he might have made a mistake by staying in the village when his friends went to the city. Early the next morning, he left the river and headed straight to Chukwuma's apartment. When he got there, he couldn't believe his eyes. His old friend's house, which used to be a simple mud house with a thatched roof, had been completely changed. It was now a modern building with a metal gate. Confused, Elijah knocked on the gate, not sure if he was even in the right place. Then a black A-class car pulled up and stopped right in front of him. The window rolled down, and there was Chukwuma's face.
Hey Ellie, I hope you've not been waiting for too long. I have to attend the chief's meetings. They will not let me be since my arrival. And besides, it would be rude to reject their invite.
He opens the gate and leads a surprised Elijah into a very modern white bungalow. The house doesn't look anything like it used to.
Yeah, I thought you may like this. I never thought you were still around until I saw you yesterday. If not, I would have come with something special for you for history's sake. You know your family was a backbone for us during our darkest times.
A small smile coiled up at the corner of Chukwuma's lips. As Elijah opened the bright-colored gift bag, it was a mobile phone. Elijah stared at the tightly packed gadget, his fingers fumbling with the clasp. Chukwuma noticed the struggle and offered to help. He took the gadget from Elijah and started to open it for him.
You didn't have one of these on you yesterday. Besides, this will help us communicate once I leave. Thanks, Chukwuma. But I spend most of my time by the river. How can I keep this safe from getting ruined? Don't worry. The pouch will protect us from the water damage. But how have you been? How are your sisters? They are alright too, I guess. You know they are girls now. After our parents died, they got married to men from other villages and left.
He paused for a moment, then continued.
Life has been tough, Chukwuma. Can you believe it? I come from a long line of fishermen, But even since Mama died, I can't seem to catch any fish. I have tried everything, but my nets stay empty. Now everyone laughs at me because the villagers have to buy fish from other village to eat. It's been hard. Please, Chukwuma, can I come to the city with you? Look at you. You left just 10 years ago, and now you are so successful. Even the chief wants you in their meetings. Please, Chukwuma, I will do anything to escape this shame.
Chukwuma has been listening quietly to his friend's sad story. He sighed.
You know I can't say no to you. I am leaving for the city on the next market day. Come see me before sunrise so we can live together.
Chukwuma's words filled Elijah with both hope and worry. He packed his few belongings waiting for market day, the day his life would change forever. Elijah came to the city with Chukwuma. They arrived at a fancy mansion. Elijah was very impressed.
Oh, no. Hey, this is paradise. Oh. Money is everything. It took me 7 years of hustle to get this. You can do it too. But first, let me show you to your room.
Elijah looked confused. The house was empty.
Hey, Chukwuma, where are your kids and wife? Not yet, my friend. I am expecting my first child soon. My wife is still in school. Once she is done, we have a proper wedding. Come on, it was a long trip. Let's get you settled in. Wash up and join me for dinner. Then you can get a good night's sleep. We are going somewhere tomorrow.
Elijah hasn't had such good food since his mother died. He had a lot and couldn't stop thinking about how his life was about to change. He was a fisherman, but now he was on his way to becoming a millionaire. With a full stomach and a happy smile, Elijah drifted off to sleep. The next day, Elijah and Chukwuma headed out to the mines. The job seemed easy compared to his years of failing to catch fish in the village river. Yeah, he just had to find shiny stones that glittered in the darkness of the cave. The bigger the stones, the more money he could earn. He joined the other workers who were searching for these valuable stones. They dug and scraped the rocks, hoping to uncover their shiny treasures. On his first day, Elijah only found small shiny stones. On their way back, Chukwuma encouraged Elijah, saying,
You are lucky to find someone your first day. It took me a month. So relax. Luck is with you.
But Elijah was worried about the pale-skinned people he saw at the mines.
Who are they? Or are they ghosts? Oh, you mean the foreigners?
Elijah was confused if that was actually their name, but he just nodded.
Those are the buyers. They wait for people who find big diamonds and buy them right away with real money. I remember making my first millions that way.
Seeing his friend who used to barely have enough food become so rich, Elijah became determined. He figured if it worked for Chukwuma, it could work for him too. Throughout his first week, Elijah spent several hours a day scraping and digging rocks, but didn't find any big diamonds. He only found few small stones. Chukwuma advised him to keep these for himself.
Just keep saving these shiny stones. Once you have a bunch, you can trade them for a good amount of cash. But right now, selling them in such small quantities would only lose you money.
Elijah was disappointed. His mining wasn't going as he had imagined, but he was determined to keep trying. One day, after months of failure, Elijah rushed out of the mine covered in dust and sweat. He called to his friend Chukwuma, the supervisor.
Come quickly, Chukwuma. I think I found something big. I need your help.
Chukwuma followed Elijah back to his mining spot. Elijah brushed away some dirt to reveal a huge sparkling stone. It was the biggest diamond Elijah had ever seen.
Hurry. We need to get this out before anyone else sees it.
Chukwuma whispered. Elijah and Chukwuma tried their best to dig out the giant rock, but they couldn't do it alone. Soon, another worker saw them struggling and offered to help in exchange for his share of the diamond. Elijah and Chukwuma agreed. They knew the giant rock was no longer a secret anymore, and miners weren't allowed to work after sunset. If they left it there, someone would surely steal it before morning. With the extra help, they finally unearthed the diamond. Elijah's stomach churned with nerves. He had never seen this much money before. After his friend converted the diamond's value to local currency.
You are rich, man. This is worth 50 million naira. But after paying the other workers and the mining management, you'll get about 35 million. You are lucky, my friend. My first big find was only worth 5M.
Elijah wasn't thrilled about only getting 35 million from a 50 million naira diamond.
What about the other 15 million? Who gets that? That's how it's work here, my friend. The 15 million goes to the mine owners and as taxes. Some will also be shared with the other workers who helped us.
Elijah wasn't sure he fully understood, but he was still happy about his newfound wealth. From that day on, Elijah seemed to have incredible luck. Even in areas where other miners found nothing, Elijah could always find huge diamonds. He soon earned the nickname Diamond Hands and became the most talked about bachelor in town. Women flocked to him, and he felt superior and powerful. He had never had this much attention before. Even the diamond buyers compete with each other to be the first to buy his stones. They completely trusted him to always come out of the mines with the biggest diamonds. Elijah felt irreplaceable and craved more and more of these precious stones. One day, while working in the mines like any other, Elijah's digger hit something incredibly hard. He climbed in and started digging by hand. Soon, he realized it was something impossible to break through. Brushing away the dirt, he discovered a massive, never-ending rock buried deep underground. With a huge smile on his face, he yelled for help, knowing he had just found the most valuable thing. Chukwuma hurried over and saw the enormous rock. It sent shivers down his spine.
Don't touch it, Elijah. That rock looks like it goes way down under the ground. Trying to get anything out of it could be a big mistake. No way, man. Look at this giant rock now. If I don't take this diamond now, someone else will before sunrise tomorrow. This much will set me up for life. I will never have to come back to this dangerous place again.
Ignoring Chukwuma's plea, Elijah started digging around the massive stone. Suddenly, a strange colorless gas filled the air around the diamonds. One by one, everyone in the mine slowly drifted off to sleep. Elijah woke up feeling confused. Everything around him was white and blurry. A doctor came over, checked his pulse and eyes, and then wrote something down. Then a police officer entered the room.
You can ask him your question now. You seem to be the only one who survived the mine's collapse. Can you tell me what happened before everything fell apart?
The policeman's words were confusing for Elijah. He shook his head, not understanding, but the officer wouldn't give up.
The mine owner says you were fighting at the mine. Can you tell us what happened and how it started?
At this instance, Elijah remembered he found a massive diamond. Everyone helped him dig it out except Chukwuma. He shook his head again.
We weren't fighting. We were just excited about the giant diamond I found.
Elijah looked around. He was the only one in the room. He asked,
Where is my friend Chukwuma?
The doctor glanced at the policeman before speaking.
You need to rest now. It's a miracle you woke up after a week in coma. We weren't sure you'd make it after being trapped underground with a methane leak for hours.
3 long days and nights passed at the hospital. Finally, Elijah was allowed to go home. He was devastated when the police told him Chukwuma hadn't made it. Overwhelmed by guilt, he stayed in bed for days. His nightmare kept coming back. A friend finally convinced him the fresh air would help. He needed to get outside. He agreed and headed for the door. Then he realized he needed some cash. He checked his drawer. Confused, it was empty. He was positive he had some money there. In his rush to leave, he grabbed his debit card. He could just get some cash from the ATM. But the moment he touched it, it felt like it was burning him. He tried again, but felt the same scorching pain. Confused, he confided in his friend. His friend laughed it off, joking that his medication were messing with his mind. He even offered to help him take out some cash, but with each withdrawal, Elijah noticed his friends were taking a little extra for themselves. He pretended not to care and even joked about being rich. Moreover, the burning sensation in his hand every time he held money was far more troubling than his stealing friends. It was like the money itself was cursing him. Worst, whenever he touched a bill, it felt like he was back in the mine on the day his best friend died. A horrible vision flashed in his mind, and a burning pain seared his palm. Looking closer, Elijah saw the burn had left a strange scar shaped like a diamond. In disbelief, he whispered to himself,
This can't be real.
And tried touching another bill. As he squeezed it tightly, the pain returned even stronger. The stain around him blurred, transporting him back to the mine collapse. Panicked, he ripped open his palm to reveal the diamond-shaped burn, a permanent reminder of the horrifying experience. The doctors couldn't explain Elijah's burn. News of his injury spread quickly, and soon his friends avoided him, convinced it was cursed and wanted no part of his suffering. The very lifeblood of his dreams now torment him, bringing him holy pain, with each passing day increasing the intensity, never stopping. The world driven by money seemed to reject and punish him. Sleep became a luxury he couldn't have. Every night, he would have terrible dreams about the mine collapsing again and again. What made matters worse was that he could not buy food with money without his tongue and throat being burnt. His body was getting weaker, and he felt trapped inside it. He was like a prisoner in his skin. This made him paranoid. Until one night, he cries out in anger.
Why would the loving God allow such a horrible thing to happen?
He fell into a deep despair, questioning all his beliefs. The next sunrise, a ragged figure, barely recognized as Elijah, stumbled upon a homeless little girl clutching a rag doll whilst begging for food at his gate. The sight of her innocence in comparison with his own plight shattered something within him. He knew then what he had to do. With a deep breath, Elijah closed his eyes and extended his burning hand towards the girl. As a familiar pain fled, he placed the bill gently in her palm. Tears streamed down his face, a mixture of agony and a strange sense of peace. He couldn't be free, but he could help others escape the clutches of the very thing that had destroyed him. The little girl said,
"Thank you,"
to Elijah, who looked thin and a bit frightening. Then she ran away as quickly as her little legs could carry her.